Hello students, I am Dr. Shrikant Bause, Assistant Professor at Department of Advanced Management Studies, GS College of Commerce, Varda. In the last video, we have seen the history and background of the random walk hypothesis and random walk theory. We have also studied the contribution of different reputed economists and eminent physicists towards the random walk theory. Now, today we are going to study the assumptions and the most important observations of random walk theory. So, this theory we will discuss the point wise. The first point of random walk theory suggests that the successive stock prices are independent. Suppose a stock is trading at 100 rupees today, may trade higher or lower or even can remain constant tomorrow. No one can predict the price of stock for tomorrow accurately 100%. So, day after tomorrow, the price may also be go up or go down or remain constant, and even after that, the prices may vary and fluctuate. So, there is no relation between the stock prices of today, of tomorrow and day after tomorrow, or even the stock prices of this week, next week and next to next week. Even if you compare the stock prices of last month, this month, next month and the far month, all the stock prices will be independent and there will not be any kind of relation with their movement. So this is the first assumption of random walk theory. The next assumption states that the prices fluctuate with respect to time and the risk. As the time goes away, if you are thinking for investing in a long-term instrument, the prices you will find in the long term pretty healthy in blue chip stocks, while the prices in the medium term will be quite volatile and the prices in very short term will be extremely volatile. As we all know that the risk associated in the trading is much higher as compared to the risk associated in the long-term investment. So, this is the time and risk factor. Less is the time, more is the risk. High the time, long time duration, the risk will be low. Then, expected returns vary. Remember one thing, that the past returns do not guarantee you the future returns, or the present returns which you are earning right now will not be same in the long term. So, these expected returns will vary from time to time. I can quote here a beautiful example of mutual fund industry where they show you the returns of last 1 year, returns of last 3 years, last 5 years, returns of last 10 years, last 15 years and last 20 years, and below that they mention that the past performance do not guarantee you the future performance. So, the expected returns will vary from time to time and the expected return will also depend on the market conditions. The next assumption is information is freely available. Today we are having access to business papers, business channels, internet. So from all these electronic media and social media, we used to get the information instantaneously, very quickly. So this information is freely available, and this information news is completely reflected in the current market price of a stock. The next assumption is keen competition. There is a great tug of war between the buyers and the sellers. Buyers will be bullish and sellers will be bearish. So there will always a great fight between the buyers and the sellers. Anyone who will dominate the market will go in his direction. If bulls are dominating the market will go up. If the bears are dominating the market will go down. If both are having equal power, if if buyers and sellers are equal with equal quantity and volume, the market will remain stagnant and range bound. Next assumption is market prices reflects IV, means intrinsic value. The true value of a stock is reflected by the market. Next, participants impound all information. Remember one thing, that the most intellectual breed on the earth trades into the stock market, because this breed is extremely intellectual, very knowledgeable. They do not leave any stone unturned which gives them the information. That news is fully utilized by the traders and investors for making their buying or selling decision. So the participants impound all information. The next assumption is prices change only in response to new information. As we know that all the past information is already discounted by the buyers and sellers of a stock, the past information do not affect the stock prices, whereas only new information reflects the stock prices. Then, as we all know, new information cannot be predicted. Just take a recent example of COVID-19. In the month of March, no one was knowing that in India there will be a COVID-19 pandemic. But the COVID-19 pandemic, which started in China, spread across the globe, and Indian stock market also witnessed a great turbulence. As we came to know about the lockdown, the news of lockdown was very surprising, extremely new for the stock markets, and as the lockdown was announced by the government, next day the stock market reflected badly that what is going to happen in the economy because of this lockdown. Then next is the prices behave like random walk. As we know, the prices are independent, they behave randomly. No one knows that what is going to happen after few seconds or few minutes or few hours or even tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So these prices are 100% independent and moves randomly. So these are all the assumptions of random walk theory. On the basis of random walk theory, the economists and statisticians and the great philosophers of the market came up with the idea of efficient market hypothesis. By utilizing all the success of random walk theory, the efficient market hypothesis was propounded. Now we will see what is efficient market hypothesis. The efficient market hypothesis states that all the information is freely available to all the market participants. They may be traders or they may be investors, they may be small, they may be big. And this information is completely reflected into the current market price of stock. Hence, the market cannot be beaten by using any information or by doing a news-based trading. This information is already reflected into the current market price of a stock. Hence, as we know that there is no hidden information, all the information is freely available, the stocks trade at fair value because the buyers and sellers will be having the same information with them and the stock will adjust its price automatically by responding to this news. So stocks are trading at the fair value. When the stocks are trading at the fair value, when you cannot utilize any hidden news, when the information is freely available to all, you cannot buy undervalued stock and sell it at the right or risen prices or high prices. So stocks cannot be purchased undervalued and cannot be sold overvalued. The next point of EMH states that opportunity investors can gain higher returns through speculative investments with substantial risk. Now, who are the opportunity investors? These opportunity investors may be very few in numbers. They may be having an accurate knowledge and information about the company's performance, and they might, not compulsorily, they might gain by using such kind of information, but that will be also highly speculative and will be having a substantial risk. When you are trading on the basis of any news or information, there will be always a great risk because you never know that when that information or news will be vanished or that information may also prove wrong or false. So there are three forms of efficient market hypothesis. We will learn these, all the three forms of efficient market hypothesis one by one. The first form of efficient market hypothesis is weak form. The second form is semi-strong form. And the third form is strong form. In the weak form, the first assumption is that current market price reflects all past data. So whatever will be the current market price of any XYZ stock in the market, that will be reflecting the past data. Now, what is past data? That past data can be the data which you have seen 10 minutes back, or the data which you have heard 1 day ago or 2 days ago. Any data which is freely available, any news which gets flashed on the television screen or on the internet or on the social media will become fast just after few seconds or few minutes. Then no technical analysis form can be effectively utilized. So it also states that technical analysis is also of no use because the stock prices have already discounted the past data. Then fundamental analysis useful for determining undervalued and overvalued stocks. What it states that the fundamental analysis is useful and technical analysis is not useful. How? Because the fundamental analysis analyzes the balance sheet of a company, it analyzes the profit and loss of a company. So by investing into the strong balance sheet companies with a strong performance, with a strong revenue and profit, you can buy good stocks. Technical analysis is of no use, it is said in the weak form. Then next, financial statement analysis is useful. So it considers the ratio based analysis and the different factors of fundamental analysis, and the tools used in the fundamental analysis are useful. It is said in the weak form. In the next form, semi-strong form, it says that neither technical nor fundamental analysis is useful for higher returns. It states that no technical, no fundamental is useful for earning the higher returns. Then, publicly unavailable information only may give higher returns as compared to market returns. It states that only the information which is not publicly available, the information which is hidden, the information which is available only to few people, they may be insiders also, it can only generate the higher returns as compared to the other market returns. So this is semi-strong form. The last type is the strong form, where it states that all publicly available and unavailable information is reflected in current market price. As there are lakhs and crores of market participants, they may be buyers or sellers, they may be traders or they may be investors. Each and everyone will be having maximum information with their respective investments. So all the publicly available and unavailable information is reflected in current market price. No type of information can give higher returns. So when each and every news is available to each and everyone, how you can make money? You cannot make money. So this is said by the strong form. Last but not the least, no news based trading can give higher returns. Remember, we have also seen practically on the screen that the stock prices behave randomly. Many a times it happens that stock prices behave exactly opposite of the news. There are many people who used to follow the rule, buy on bad news and sell on good news. Even a bad news become good news in the booming market. Even the good news become bad in the bearish market. So you cannot trade on the news. So these are all the examples of three types of efficient market hypothesis, that is weak form, semi-weak, semi-strong form and the strong form. And we have also covered the random walk theories assumption in this video. I request you to study all these assumptions thoroughly, and this will definitely help you not only in your university examination but also in your investment and trading journey. Thank you.